It's a bit weird that the connection isn't connecting. A little bit strange. The encoder is acting a little bit weird. Hey. So, what you got to see a little bit there is our annual Cube tournament that we do. We divide ourselves into teams, and then we basically have at it at this Swedish game that everyone plays during Midsummer called Cube. Food is on the cards, I can hear. Yes, food is on the cards. Like, I feel like food has been on the cards the whole day. How are you doing, Distorter? Were you able to follow like how Cube works? Like, did you understand, or was it just weird? You tried to explain it here too. You only saw the last cheater game. Yeah, they won in the end though. But the first two games we won like as clean as you can win, which I don't think that has ever happened before, and it happened twice in a row on my team this time around, which was quite interesting. Ah, the basic idea was clear, yeah. Yeah. They will be grilling outside. My mom was like, "You can't have your phone in your hand." I'm like, "But the chat is there," and she's like, "Doesn't matter. It's cheating." What does the phone have to do with anything? Actually, she wasn't saying it's cheating. She said it reduces your ability to play well. Ja. Ja. What's up? Ja, jag är jätteflexibel. Ja, det funkar. They're making vegetarian stuff for me. So we're doing grilling, and they've got some vegetarian options. I threw the stick sideways and hit a stick, and I was told, no, it's underarm. Huh? What's that? I don't understand. If the camera would be in a top view from a window, would have been amazing. The house is too far away from you being able to see anything because the lens is wide. Like, I'm really close to the camera. Like, I'm this distance away from the camera, but it doesn't seem like I am, right? So it actually creates like naturally quite a distance, even though I'm very close. So you guys were close to the game, but it might have seemed like you were a bit far away. I don't know. Ah, sideways throw is an illegal move. Ah. Yeah, you're just supposed to throw it like this. Yeah, you're actually within choking range, yes. Indeed. So how was the Athene stream today? I guess not everyone here watches Athene though. But that's kind of why I started streaming again and with the IRL setup and everything. Because we were doing the excavation streams. But I've quite been enjoying doing the streams actually. So I'm trying to keep up with it. And also like last year doing IRL streams is something I wanted to do. And now I finally got the setup for it. So why not keep it going, you know? I'll also bring my setup to TwitchCon. If anyone is going there, let me know. Dean is still streaming. I just mainly watch your IRL when I can. That's nice, Akir. Thank you. It's a nice change of pace. He's testing the co-streaming stuff of the AI. How's it going today? Is it better today? I know they were playing around with some solutions and stuff. But the team is working really hard on the AI stuff. I love my team. I miss them. I mean, I've only been gone for like, what, 2 days? But it feels like I've been gone for a week. It's gonna sound maybe weird, but... And, I mean... Obviously, like, my mom has been dealing with cancer. And so I've been home a lot more than usual. As in the beginning of her chemotherapy, I was her primary caretaker. But usually, like, our family gets together twice a year, and it's for Midsummer and for Christmas. And so this is Midsummer celebrations with my family. It's the first time you get to see it, like, be part of it, and feel what it's like a little bit. Oh, wow. Yeah, at Carebox I actually am on Sunday. I'll let you know which time. It's early. How am I feeling today? As much as I love being with my family, I am quite consumed with our projects, like our AI projects and what we're doing in Germany. That's okay, Carebox. There will be more opportunities. And it definitely occupies my mind. And I miss Germany, even though I've only been away for a little bit. And here, life is so vastly different. Like, my family, you know, they just live their lives. And they're great. They're wonderful people. They're nice. We have very nice atmosphere. No, I didn't. So I like being with my family and I enjoy spending time with them. But because what we do is so fundamentally different, it's hard for me to spend longer periods of time here. Because for me, it's not very purposeful other than being around them and spending time with them. But yeah, that in itself also, I mean, you don't live your life just to appease your direct environment, especially if your direct environment isn't super concerned with a bigger picture, if that is what you kind of like aim for, like I try. It causes a bit of a disconnect sometimes. And then, you know, they're just living their life and they're like, oh, don't you want to get a house? Don't you want to get a car? Don't you want to do this and don't you want to do that? And I'm like, no, I don't. What's the point in having a house if AGI is a thing in the future, you know? No, I don't regret at all. I mean, that's why I come here, right? So my choices are very, especially I would say the last year or maybe even two, my choices are a lot more aware. Like I'm thinking a lot about when I go to places and stuff. And so, or if I spend time with people, it's thought put behind the time that I take to do what I do. While in the past I was a much more reactive person, which means that, you know, I just kind of went with the flow, and if someone goes like, oh, let's do this, then I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But yeah, for the past I would say right before my Thailand trip in 2022, I started really thinking a lot more about how I utilize my time. And it's a process, right? Sometimes I'm still very reactive, but most of the time now I think I'm quite decently aware of my choices. So that also means if I do take the time to come here or spend it with friends, a lot of thought goes behind it, and it's a decision that I stand behind. I'm not doing stuff that I don't want to do. I want to be here with family. But initially, for example, I had booked my trip to go home on the 25th, but then I realized like that's actually, I don't want to stay that long. I wouldn't feel good staying that long, and it's not aligned with what I want to do, and I don't need to stay that long. And so I rebooked for, what day is it today? Yeah, I rebooked for the 23rd. And now I'm like, that's a good mix that I feel happy about. So I would say that my choices are mostly quite what? No. Afterwards, it is very little you actually hang with family. Yeah, after you move out, the care box, I guess so. I think it is what you make it. I spend a lot of time with my family whenever I go to Sweden. It's pretty much why I go to Sweden for the most part. Of course, I love seeing my friends and stuff that I have here as well. But the majority of my time when I do come home to Sweden is to spend it with my family. I love my family. Hej Gud ignorerar. The Save the Children organization where you work is also from Sweden, right? They exist in Sweden. So in Sweden they're called Rädda Barnen, but I actually work for the American branch. And the reason I work for the American branch is because Save the Children operates in 120 different countries around the world, give or take. It changes a little bit from year to year depending on certain programs. Like the mission of Save the Children is to cease to exist, right? Like we don't want to have to be a necessity in the world. But and sometimes when you fund certain programs or whatever, and the programs go really well, you're able to give over those programs to the communities and the country itself. And when that happens, yeah, Gud ignorerar. I've already streamed a lot. We streamed Kub and everything. You can check it out in the VOD. Then Save the Children steps out, and then we stop working in that region or country if we're not needed anymore, for example. And yeah. So Save the Children actually started off as an organization in the UK. It was a woman named Eglantine Jebb who created the organization and it was during one of the world wars. I think World War One or maybe two. It must have been World War One. Yeah, during the First World War, a lot of the sanctions that were put on certain countries and stuff actually created a lot of famine, uh, and the people that were supposed to be targeted were well off, or like they didn't get as affected as innocent kids. So kids were going extremely hungry and starving, and were being hit hard by the war and the sanctions. And so this woman started protesting in the UK, and after that started the organization Save the Children. And I think she was even jailed and stuff. So she was kind of a fighter. And so the organization started in the UK. And then soon after that, I think the third country that created to Save the Children was Sweden. But the reason I work for the American branch is so Save the Children Sweden works a lot with awareness, for example, but not so much with fundraising. But America, being America, is very fundraising focused. So they're kind of like experts at fundraising. And so they tend to be the one part of the organization that is extremely innovative and first at innovation. So 9 years ago now, they approached me for the job that I have. Because they recognized the power of what me and Athene and that group were doing, and they needed someone to help them navigate the gaming space. And Athene, of course, wants to be independent, so he didn't accept the role, but I did. And I've been with them and building their programs ever since. So it's really cool that I could do something that I was already doing, but also for a living, and be able to do it with a lot more resources and manpower behind me, basically, because the organization is also behind it. So that's really cool, and I've been doing that for a really long time now and raised a lot of millions of dollars. I don't know what you're talking about, Altec. Were you this active in your head and intelligent when you ate meat? What type of question is that? No, I wasn't. But I don't think it has to do with the meat eating itself. It's more that the vegetarianism was a result of me starting to reflect and think more. And being vegetarian was actually one of the first things, because there was a point in my life, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, where I started to really go like, hold up, and thinking deeply about my life, almost to the point where it was disruptive for my line of work, because I was putting the brakes on everything that I had, and I couldn't stop thinking. And then while I was reflecting, I was thinking a lot about like my ideal, the universe, how the universe works, and like the intention, what matters, what doesn't matter. Is the world probabilistic? Is it deterministic? What is my role in life? What is life about? I thought a lot about like what makes me happy, and then about how happiness as a concept I feel is a flawed thing to chase, and that a lot of people are stuck in this loop, like chasing happiness. And then I thought about what moments in my life have I felt the best, and I reflected on that and realized it's when I don't make life about myself. And then I thought a lot about like, what is the self? What am I? Who am I? A lot of these sort of like existential things. And I thought a lot about honesty and like the relationship I carry with myself. And it's funny because these are a lot of things that Athene talks about in his real talks, but I had never listened to a real talk, even though we had been very extremely close friends for 15 years, or well, at that point 13 years. And this is sort of like, this was his thing, but I was making life so much about myself that I didn't even realize what his thing was. I knew about his charity work and I cared about his charity work because we did a lot of that sort of stuff together. But I never went really deep on what else he got up to, like his real talks, or, you know, how he was trying to raise awareness about awareness itself. And like, you know, no, he hasn't programmed me for 13 years. That's also why when suddenly I was starting to reflect, he was like, what's happening? Like, he was so critical of my sudden change and me suddenly asking certain questions and stuff that he was almost like, what happened to you, you know? Because he's been trying to tell me things for, 13 years, and I was never listening, or I was not interested in those sort of things. And then suddenly, like, I come out of the blue and I'm like, hey, actually, this thing, da, 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 da. And then he's like, who are you? Like, why are you suddenly interested in this? What's your intention? What's that about? Like, he was very, he almost couldn't believe it. And he, for a while, he was very skeptical, like thinking, why are you suddenly changing in this way? Does it really come from you, or what is it, But then he realized, yeah, it did come from me, and it came from certain experiences. And I personally believe that I got everything that I wanted. Every goal that I set up for myself, I achieved. And I've been so privileged and been able to see so many different parts of life. Someone asked me earlier, like, oh, your family's so well off, so if you never work, they'll be able to take care of you. But it's like, my family was not well off. They escaped the war. They had nothing. We had nothing. We had to start off in a new country from scratch, and like, we struggled. So I know what it's like to struggle, and I know what it's like to come into a country where opportunities are given equally to people, and I've never taken that for granted. And my family is a very hardworking family that doesn't settle. And that sort of also being able to see that, but also build it from the ground, because there's just never been any excuses. I've been able to live both lives in a sense. And I've always felt empowered ever since I was young. I've always felt that what I do matters because I could see it in my environment, and I'm lucky to have seen that. I was not defeated by my environment. The environment was harsh and hard, but it was never discouraging. And I'm lucky for that. Yeah, I had a very strong mom because my dad died when I was 4, so she was a single mom to 2 kids, And yeah, it shaped me to the person that I am. But even then, like, I was making life about myself a lot, and I achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I owned my own apartment. I sold my own apartment. It was a nice apartment too. I've had my own car. I've not had my own car. I've moved countries. I've started my own business. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've known people who have been very famous in their own regards, in their own respects, in their own fields where they are experts. I've seen how people act around people who are famous. I've also seen how they act around people who are not famous. I've been able to explore and experience so many different perspectives that I feel that it came to a point where, like, if anyone would ask me what I wanted, I just couldn't come up with things anymore. And then it's like, okay, what's the next goal that I set up for myself? What's the next thing that I'm gonna achieve? What is the next thing? And then it's like, it's just the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. But that became very depressing. It's like, how can you become depressed when you have everything? And nothing was really working. Like, because I kept achieving these incredible things, raising millions for kids in need or whatever, getting my own apartment, everything that, you kind of understand to be meaningful. turns out it wasn't really fulfilling me at all. I mean, in its own way it did through experience, but also at the same time, like, not really. So I had to really reconsider like my approach to life. And that's when I realized the reason I'm unfulfilled, no matter how many things I achieve, is because fundamentally life is not about you. Life is not about me. Life is not about the self or what I can get for myself, especially when you have all of your basic needs covered. Of course, you have to have your basic needs covered, but once you have that, like, everything else is just a bonus, an extra, and you can keep chasing and fill it up and fill your cup and fill your bowl and fill your fucking whole room and fill your apartment and fill your house. It doesn't fulfill you, truly, because it's not aligned with what you are. Life is about living, well, for me, right? Life is when you are full in your life, right? When you have your basic needs covered, it is about ensuring that all other parts of yourself are also full. And that is your direct environment or people around you, and ultimately the world and the universe, because we're all interconnected. And so that's where sort of all these reflections came from for me. And the vegetarianism that someone talked about before was sort of like the first step, because it's like I started having this belief that we are all connected, and I had it strongly. And so it's like, what is the difference between me and you right now in this moment? We experience ourselves as different. I experience myself as morale here in this moment in time, and you experience yourself as someone else. But why do we experience it as such when we are made out of the same stuff, and you're never the same person and you're ever changing, right? Like the ship of Theseus or whatever. And in the end, like in 100 years, none of us are going to be here, but other versions of us or other, will be. So to make life about the self and make it self-centered about your own needs and wants just is, for me, fundamentally flawed. And it also never led to happiness, because I think it was fundamentally flawed. Now, then I started thinking, okay, if that's what I really believe, and if that is, let's say, probabilistically how it may even be, then what am I doing for my environment? If everything is me and I am everything, or part of everything rather, because explaining it like this is a little bit egocentric, then what am I doing for my environment? Oh yeah, I do charity work, that's great. But like, okay, I know about the meat industry, I know about these things, but if I truly believe that we're all interconnected, and I don't think it's wrong to eat meat, by the way, I think it has its place and time in the cycle of life, but the way that we eat it in the West, I think, is completely unnecessary. It's not even good for the environment, which means it's not good for us. It's not good for the animals. So many things with it is wrong and unnecessary. And here in Sweden, at least, they throw so much meat away when it passes the expiry date. So it was all for nothing. All the resources, all the energy and everything to produce it, to feed it, and then to cause harm and suffering, to then, what, for nothing? We like to what's it called? We like to criticize China, for example, for eating like all these sort of animals in their meat markets, but at least they eat everything. They eat the intestines, they eat the eyeballs, they eat everything. Nothing goes to waste. They're not throwing it into containers that nobody can touch because they want to keep the price at a certain level or whatever. So I was really thinking, if I do believe these things, then I should be able to start with this simple thing, and I should be able to, I believe as a person that my actions matter, and sure, me as one person won't change much, but if I had the mindset that it doesn't change anything at all, then I wouldn't be able to achieve all the things that I've been achieving in my life, or that I set myself up to achieve. And in my position, right, and I know that's a privileged position due to the experiences I had and everything I went through, I did achieve everything I wanted. So I know I'm capable. And that's nice, Panda Badger. That's really nice. Yeah, see, like I don't mind in these situations because it's part of the cycle of life. It's the unnecessity of it, the slavery aspect of it, the way we eat it in the West, that I really can't get behind, and the audacity of in how we do it too. We live so good and we take it all for granted. We sit there and we're just complaining about how our lives are shit, when in reality we live really fucking well. You wouldn't want to live 100 years ago, because the standard you have now, even if you feel shit about yourself, is just so much better. And to then allow yourself to have this negative thinking is almost a delusion. It's a delusional negativity in a sense. And it's really important to keep yourself aware of that, because perspective can really change your mood. It can change how you think about things. It can change the energy levels that you have, because you just start seeing things for what they are. And sometimes the reality is the ugly truth, or an ugly truth that we don't want to face, right? That we would rather avoid. But yeah, if I can't face the truth, like, so for me, right, when it came to this one simple thing, I was like, okay, if that is my belief, then I should be able to drop eating meat, because that's a very simple thing, right? And it makes a lot of sense. And even though, like, it's, for me, it's not about, oh, I care about the animal so much or whatever. It's just, it's unnecessary. And I understand that. And I also feel that it's unnecessary, so I should be able to cut it. But even then, like, as soon as I reflected on it and my awareness was sort of elsewhere, because in the beginning when I started practicing awareness, it was very fleeting. Like, it would come and go much more. And it's through constant reflection and like practicing this for the past 2 years that I'm a lot more aware. It's also the environment that you have around you, like the people that you have around you. If you're surrounded by people who are more reactive, you become more reactive because you are your environment. You know? And so, and then when I noticed emotionally I'm having such a resistance to give up eating meat, then I really had to ask myself, like, morale, you keep reflecting on this and you're coming to certain conclusions, but you're emotionally not able to like stop eating meat. Why is that? Why do you not want to stop eating meat? Like, where does that come from? And then I just thought about it more. And then I realized, you know what? Yeah, I don't need to. And prior to that, I have tried so many times over the years, but I never really reflected on why. And the moment I did, and I went deeper, and I really practiced sort of like that honesty with myself, I didn't judge myself for being inconsistent with my belief. I was just sort of facing it, and I was like, you know what? I am a bit of a hypocrite, because internally I do feel that it would be wrong, especially in line with my belief, but then I go and do it. So yeah, if I hold that mirror up to myself, then like I'm a fucking hypocrite. And I have to accept that in order to get over that. And so then I really thought about that, and it's like, why do I want to be a hypocrite? Do I want to be someone who lies to myself? Is that where I create a strong relationship and confidence with myself? It's like, no, it's not. Well, then you know what to do. Who do you want to be? Who am I in the relationship to myself? Not even for my environment or whatever, but like in the relationship that I carry with myself. So that was a very long-winded answer to the question of, did you become sharper after you stopped eating meat? Yes, I did become sharper after I stopped eating meat, but it wasn't because of the meat eating itself. It was the thought process behind All of it. That made me sharper. Sorry, that took fucking forever. And yeah, it is delicious. I love eating meat, but I don't do it because I think doing so would just be a betrayal of the relationship I carry with myself. And if I betray myself, it always goes at a cost. Our choices, even if they feel like they are free, they're never free. Everything always comes at a cost. So if you are dishonest with yourself, if you have a dishonest relationship with yourself, it comes at a price. And like, let's say this is a really stupid example, but it's a good one at the same time. Let's say I want to lose weight, right? But really deep down, I just want to eat those chocolates and the crisps really, really bad. And I tell myself, okay, I'm not going to eat these. I tell my environment, look, I'm going on a diet, blah, 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 blah. Let's say I do that. But then one day when I'm really feeling the craving or whatever, right? I hide from my environment and I go and I buy these crisps and I eat that chocolate in the intimacy of my own surrounding. Nobody else sees me. Nobody else knows. And it's like, if you have a dishonest relationship with yourself, it's almost like you didn't eat those crisps or that chocolate. But that behavior is actually the biggest punch, because everything starts with the relationship that you have with yourself and the trust that you have towards yourself. And confidence comes from this place too. So if you do that, your body, your mind, it doesn't even trust itself. If you don't trust yourself, you cannot truly trust others. If you don't love yourself and start showing up for yourself, then you cannot love others. And that is true. It's just the harsh truth. And if you tell yourself, oh, but I love others. No, you don't. You love others to the extent in which you're comfortable loving them, because that is how far you can go with yourself. You get what I mean? I'm not trying to come across like accusatory, or like sometimes these sort of conversations can really trigger people, but I'm talking from my experience, right? Like with how it is for me. But it's not easy. It's not easy to live a line with the reality, because reality is harsh. But the thing is, if you learn to, and this is what Athene says right now, I feel like I'm parroting him, but it's true what he says in this regard when you really reflect on it. Like, if you can find, like, reality can be ugly, reality can be hard, reality is harsh, and it can slap you in the face, and it doesn't give you that comfort. You know the saying when it's like, would you rather have a friend that sits with you and tells you everything's gonna be okay, or do you want to have the friend that sits with you in jail and goes like, man, we're fucking fucked? And it's like, I would rather have the we're fucking fucked friend than the one that like goes like, it's gonna be all right when it isn't. And that is sort of like reality. If you can learn to value truth and you can learn to value reality, you will find a lot of safety even when it's ugly. And it will make you resilient over time too. And there's a sort of beauty in that, even when things are hard. Hey Modi, Karhu. I think that's nice, Panda Badger. I'd like a friend like you. As long as you don't start claiming you're a genius, it's all good. Oh, I'm definitely not a genius. Don't worry about that, Bison. I am not a genius. I am certainly not a genius. That's why also, I think it's really important that to recognize truth for what it is. And I recognize where I fall short, where my shortcomings are, and I don't try to become the best at everything that I'm not good at, because it's not what I'm good at, and that's just the reality. I am good at certain things, and I am much better focusing on what I'm good at, and then connecting myself arm in arm with people who are good at other things, so that I can bring to the table what I'm good at, and they can bring to the table what they're good at, and together we make a great team. And in that regard, if both people have a strong trust relationship with themselves, you can achieve so much together. Is Athene a genius? If you should watch the stream VOD from a couple of, like, a last week or something. I called him genius-like, and you should have seen his face. He was just like, he was so weirded out by me saying that, but I think he's incredibly intelligent. And everything I say were things that he basically just already knew, and he was freaking like 13 or 14, which, it's insane. I'm 30. How old am I now? I'm 34. Am I 34? And like, I'm just, for the past 2 years, kind of like understanding all of these things through my experience, and learning how to have a more honest relationship with myself, being more confident. I've always been a confident person, but it was in the frame of where life was about me. And so it kind of was flawed at its very core. And that's why I was unhappy, even if I had everything. But now I'm happy, and it comes from within. Of course, I have my days where maybe I'm down a bit, but also I don't think life is about being happy, but rather being content and have purpose in what you're doing. But yeah, overall, even happiness wise, I think I'm happier than I have been in a very long time. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I saw that there was some cool questions. I'm just really bad at catching up with the chat sometimes. Especially if I go on a freaking... Where is the line drawn? If we walk outside, we kill germs and worms and shit. This is true. I think the line is drawn where it gets impractical for life itself. If you have good intentions and you're aware of like what your actions do, and you try to practice this awareness and live aligned with it, then I think it's fine. But to like really start being careful to the point where like, oh my god, I shouldn't kill a bug or whatever. I mean, like, it's the cycle of life too. The animal kingdom in itself is extremely savage. It's built for survival. I mean, even we are. Why is it? Even though scientifically it's very likely that we're all just one super organism, but why is it that you experience yourself as yourself and I experience myself as a separate entity to you? And I think it's because it's practical. It was practical that we started developing identity and this separation, because we just have a higher chance at expanding and survival this way. But the problem is when it goes a little bit too far and we become super self-centered to the point where we start destroying other parts of ourselves. Yeah. As long as you don't give up, Bison. I think failure, like, you can fail, you can try, and if you fail over again, it's fine. But it's when you stop trying, that is the true failure. I actually think trying and pushing yourself and not settling, even if you face hardship, is one of the strongest things you can do. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading the past and I'll just focus on what you guys are saying now. Having days when you are down are okay too. Lamenting over it like it's the worst thing isn't going to be good. It's okay to have bad days and it's okay to try and reach out if you just need a little bit of support. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Panda Badger. I resonate a lot with what Panda Badger has been saying in the chat. Yeah, and I am not, like, me having bad days doesn't really impact me like crazy bad or anything like that. I just recognize it as this is not the greatest day. It's probably because of this and this. And also, the more sharp I've become, I also realized how much food impacts me. I've also realized, like, my hormones. Holy shit. Like, I wasn't so aware that the hormonal fluctuations would impact me so much until some other girls around me actually told me to download like an app where you could keep track of your cycle and stuff. And the cycle is just fucking spot on all the time. I have a bad day and I don't know why, if there's no like apparent reason, and like everything is emotionally so overwhelming and bad, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what if I'm in this stage of like these hormones releasing in my body because I'm about to get my period? And then I look at the app and I look at the tracker and it's like, this is your first day of PMS, or this is your first day, and I'm like, and it's like, it has like a scientific freaking reason too. Yeah, I mean, I bet we all do, you know? Yeah, when we eat foods, we introduce millions of organisms to the gut biome, or otherwise feed and maintain large colonies of other life. These life forms in our gut are a big part of what causes cravings. Eat sugar, you will crave as the colony starves to maintain, less of it dies out. Yes, and I only learned about that recently, actually, about the importance of having a diverse microbiome in your gut and things like this, right? And like, how in the Western world, our microbiome has actually become less and less diverse, while in poorer countries where there's more variety in the foods that they eat, they have a richer, more like natural, more like old school days type of microbiome. And a lot of sicknesses and illnesses are actually happening because of the foods that we eat here, or the lack of variety in our food that we eat in the West, or like the processed foods or whatever. Anyway, so I was watching this documentary, Hack Your Health, and it's about the gut. It's mainly focused on the gut, how the gut works. They're basically saying that the gut is almost like a second brain, and because of how the intestines and stuff work in the body, if you eat like a lot of processed foods or sugar or like candy or whatever, right? When you eat it and it gets digested, in the small intestine, everything basically gets absorbed, and the sugar gets absorbed really, really fast. And so you have like that sugar high where, but then everything gets dissolved very fast too, because it's not nutritious. It's not a slow sort of digesting process. And so by the time that it comes to the large intestine or whatever, there's nothing left for the microbiome in the large intestine to feed on. And like, all the microbiome in your gut needs nutrition to be healthy. And if it doesn't get that, it starts to eat at the mucus wall of your intestine, because it needs nutrition. The bacteria there needs something to eat. So if you eat crappy food all the time, you're actually like, you're destroying your microbiome, and you're destroying your intestines, and all over slow periods of time, right? And then we wonder, oh, I feel so tired, or I feel, it's all these micro things. And it's just so fascinating how we all work as like a giant system. If you probably zoom in on the body, there's like so many bugs and stuff crawling on you, like bacteria or whatever, but they're doing its thing for you to work and function. And I think it's quite a beautiful thing. Like, who is morale? Is it this little bug that is crawling on me? Is it the thousands or millions of microbiome that are living and eating in my stomach as their own sort of beings? Like, man, yeah, it's fascinating. It's beautiful and it's fascinating. And it's like, what is my role? I need to also take care of that part of me, the universe that lives inside of here. Food. It's food time. It's time to feed the microbiome of your gut. Sarah? Oh. How did I meet Athene? Microbiome will be pleased. It will be pleased if I eat healthily. If I don't eat healthily, it will actually suffer. And it's my responsibility as a good host, as a good caretaker, as a good mom in a sense, and for you guys as well, to be a good father or a good parent. I would say it's not even about father or mother. It's to be a good caretaker, good parent for the things in your body that don't have control. You have control though, and you can make that decision. And then there are certain things in your life that you cannot control, and so on. I used to hate the label being a mom, but now I don't mind it so much because I look at it differently. Am I pregnant? No. I actually, I don't want to be pregnant. I don't want to have children. I am the mother of my microbiome. Yeah, that's correct. Do you guys like the streams, or are you just like, what the fuck is she on about? Shut the fuck up. How many kids should you have? You're thinking 8 to 13. I'm not gonna have any kids because I think it's not the most responsible thing I can do. I think it's also just it costs a lot of money. It's a big responsibility, and with what I do, right, in my life, with Save the Children and stuff, like if I would take a year off from work or 2 years off from work, that's literally like 50,000 kids. No, it's more. It's like 100,000 kids that could die because I decided to have a kid for myself. It's like, what the fuck? Nah. No thanks. For me, no. But I do think having children is one of the most meaningful things you can do, but not in my position. Anyway. Really, Bison? Well, you can always ask questions. And if there's something I say that you don't agree with, you can always challenge me too, because that's also how people grow. It's how I grow. It's how you grow. And I guess to just end this sort of rant is to say that what is love? And usually when I ask this question, every time I say what is love, I hear the song Baby Don't Hurt Me in my head. But what is love for me is to value growth in all of my relationships, and that means friends, family, and intimate relationships, and or even people that I don't know very well, acquaintances, is growth. So yeah, baby, don't hurt me. Indeed, Panda, perspective is everything, man. Like, perspective is so good to have honesty, but honesty is not about like, oh, I'm gonna be truthful to my whole environment about everything, because sometimes the truth isn't what is the right thing for your environment. But when I say honesty, I mean the relationship you carry with yourself, and that is so extremely important. I think when I observe my environment, that's where I see myself and my environment lacking the most. What else was I gonna say? All right, perspective, honesty, valuing truth, not settling, and not making life about yourself, valuing growth, loving yourself so you can love your environment. I don't know if I should bring you guys with me. I'll ask them. Be right back. Yeah. Okay. I'm attempting to bring you guys with me. I'm a little bit scared because my family are not familiar with live streaming. They're not familiar with the do's and don'ts. I gave the camera to Galia for like 2 seconds, well, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I think at 3 different occasions, there were some comments that could have definitely gotten me in trouble. And so this is, maybe it's a little bit scary for me. Ja, men alla var okej med det, sa de. No, please don't. Please don't. Just give my family a pass, please. They don't know better. They're not familiar with being on camera. They're not familiar with political correctness. Don't get me banned, please. They are the most normal people ever. Okay. Let's see here.
Men bara så vi kollar, här längst bort här då.
Var ska jag sitta?
Här borta är det liksom bloody.
Kanske i hörnet om jag ska streama och alla inte vill vara med på kamera.
Sätt dig vart du vill.
Det är någon som inte vill på internet.
Jag livestream. Ja, vem vill
Fråga
inte?
var du vill sitta. Men säg det. Sätt dig vart du vill sitta.
Om man inte vill vara med på kamera då får man räcka upp en hand. Då sätter jag mig här bara.
Vad gör du med kameran?
Jag livestreamar.
Hon jobbar.
Okej.
Hon har 1,8 biljoner följare. Ja.
Nej men sluta. Okej.
Då är vi...
That's a nice view though.
Nej, jag vet.
Maybe I'll put it on the other side.
Sätt dig ner och ät.
Ja.
Yes.
Nu blir maten kall.
Ja, exakt. Fariba, ta först.
15 minuter var det som någon som nu är maten.
Ja, nu är maten kall.
Vänta, vi sätter oss här borta mamma, eller? Vart sitter vi?
Här.
Där.
Vad är det här?
500.
Ja, men... Flytta inte på det. Men ja, som du såg så hade jag ju...
Vem sitter här?
Du?
Är det okej med att vara på kameran Ester?
Oj, hela tiden.
Så.
Nej. Det är live. Vi kan byta plats att du sitter här och så sitter jag där så är jag på kameran. Mamma, vi kan sitta på den andra sidan så kan Johan och Ester sitta här, annars är de på kameran.
Ja, Sara, lägg. Ha här din handling.
Already making my family uncomfortable.
Ja, stopp. Fariba, fram med tallriken. Ester, fram med tallriken. Du vill ha lite råare?
Ja, men Fariba vill ha vällagat.
Ja, precis. Men det finns mer vällagat i Fariba.
Jag vill ha gratäng. Jag vill det.
Fariba.
Ja,
Det kommer vällagat här till dig.
här är gratäng.
Och den här är stilgratäng.
Väl.
Här, det var well done. Så well done som du får det. Vill du ha mer Fariba? Lite till.
Vad är det här för något? Är det kött eller gratäng?
Potatisgratäng som är väldigt den blev väldigt...
Vill du ha lite till? Arad.
Ja. Tack.
Men vet du vad vi gör med Galia med den här potatisgratängen som du har gjort?
Ja, den här.
Ja, det gick det så.
Är det till dig?
Vi kan
Då får du
koka
lite...
pasta och...
Alla de vägg.
Alltid väck.
Ja, okej.
Nej, folk har ätit upp potatisen och det är bara så. Jaha, kan vi koka pasta och...
Nej, kanske.
Någon mer som ska ha?
Jag vill ha mat.
Sorry.
Det är ju skitkul. När jag inte behöver vara med.
Aha, okej.
Skulle behöva. Jag undrar om det här var... Det här var ditt.
Sitta då.
Jag kan kolla om de sover.
Satt jag där från början?
Gaffel.
Ja, jag tror du satt här. Och Johan satt där så det var Johans.
Men alltså du kan ha datorn där, det är ingen fara.
Nej, det är lugnt. Den behöver inte vara där. Den kan
Nej
vara
men nej.
så.
Vi har ju BA där uppe så jag springer hem till
Jättegärna.
Det är sant.
Omar hade sitt på min plats. Eller nej,
Vad gör jag?
på min plats.
Ja. Ja, men kom här då.
Snälla flytta på salladen.
Då kanske det var hennes.
Imorgon vet du vad vi gör?
Hade du ett glas vin, Galia?
Nej, hon hade inget glas vin.
Här, sitta här. Det finns en till.
We have
När folk har ätit upp
halloumi.
potatisen, då kan vi koka pasta och kasta in det.
chickpea
Så mycket ni
burger
kan.
and vegetarian sausage.
Det är bra att sitta där.
Är min mobil?
Det är min mobil.
Nej, det är min. Fanns det vin någonstans?
Ja, i en dunk
Det
här
finns
bakom
en
mig.
där bakom.
Eller om du vill ha skumpa.
Nej,
Har du ett glas eller?
är du uppäten?
Nu åt de mig första
Har du ett
gången.
glas eller?
Första gången nu.
Ja, på hela, och de slaktar mig alltid så ingen har rört mig förrän nu.
Sitter du där?
Unbelievable.
Var är den
Kolla, det är ju
Kan inte
jätte...
du hälla lite sallad?
Nu har jag dansat. Kolla hur länge sedan det var. Ser du? Där dansar jag. Den släpar ju hur mycket som helst.
Ja, det är väl lite så här delay
Kolla
för
nu.
att...
Ja, nu kommer min hand snart där. Kan ni inte göra den här?
Tack,
Den här?
Jag försökte men jag kom inte på hur man gjorde så vart på från ett håll.
Mick, kan inte du
Det
ge
var
mig lite
fint.
potatisgratäng? Eller Sara, kan jag få lite potatisgratäng?
Potatissoppa.
Johan, har du salt?
It's appreciated.
Gud vad mys.
Den är säkert jättegod.
Ja,
Vad mysigt.
ja, visst är
How
det.
cozy.
Cozy.
Varsågod. Fröken, varsågod.
Tack.
Internet. Johan,
Vi är så internationella.
kan jag få be om lite potatis?
Ja. Vill du prata med dem mycket?
Nej.
No, okej.
Hello!
Det är ingen som vågar prata med.
Jo.
Men vadå Emil blir nervös? Har Emil någonsin varit nervös i sitt liv?
Nej, men jag tycker att det är problematiskt därför att vi är förespråkare av mänskliga rättigheter. And one of the human rights is free speech. And we're not allowed to speak free because you will get banned.
Okay, we already have a conflict. Did you hear the lawyer in the house?
Det är faktiskt bara jag som
She has a point.
Eller var det
One of
Lasse
the
som var-
human rights is free speech, but we're not allowed to speak freely because if we speak freely then we will get banned.
This is in a sense dictatorship.
Nej, potatis.
Actually, Sarah, there is free speech, but there are rules of conduct. So like no racism.
Nobody is a racist.
But-
Nobody
yeah.
Men jag
expressed
sa inte
racism.
sallad. Hallå, jag sa potatisgratäng. Varför får jag massa sallad? Jag vet inte. Jag älskar sallad också.
Han behöver sallad.
Det var gratängen jag efterfrågade. Men det var jättesnällt. Tack Micke.
Scale of 1 to 10, how uncomfortable is the family right now?
No, not
Det där är perfekt.
They're not uncomfortable.
Tack så mycket.
They're not uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable though because I feel like I'm making them uncomfortable.
Vems vattenglas är det?
Hur många tittar?
Det vet jag inte.
har vi en sak.
Är det din? Har du druckit ur den?
Kanske några 100.
Där tjejer.
Tänk om vi hade 100. Tänk om vi hade så här 100 personer som satt här och kollade bara.
Nu får du sitta och
När du
kolla
åt.
in så att du ser.
Var det varmt Emil?
Yeah, imagine going to a family party and one member live streaming it to 100 people. Kind of weird if you think about it. That's what the chat said. It is a little weird.
Det är jättegott, det är bra grilla. Är det någon som vet vart alla har tagit vägen?
Ge mig Eller,
Potatis.
det där är jättebra.
Really? That's embarrassing. Are they still live on that other stream?
Var det kvar?
Det finns vatten här också om man vill ha.
Det är bara ni som har. Vadå?
Har du någonting att dricka?
Nej, vi som har, bara vi
Du
som
tog
har
inte med en glas?
vin. Nej, man hade med sig sitt eget vinglas där uppifrån. Har du inget?
Jag har inte.
Nej. Jag ringer till Gustav. Gustav, kan du ta med ett glas vin till barnen?
Micke, den här dörren är stängd.
Micke!
Jag kan hämta. Om det är någon som äter kött så ska man prova det här. Rödvinsreduktionen.
Åh gud vad gott. Kan man ta en liten bit här på sidan? Ta lite
Eller hämta mitt glas.
Ja.
Nej, det är...
Micke.
Men vet ni vad, jag kan hämta mitt glas också.
Nej men jag tror att han fattar.
Tack.
Han fattade ju med dig.
Jag kan...
Ja.
Fast
Gjorde han det?
Ja.
Vad är rödvinssås? Ja, jag kan ta det.
Skulle inte du sitta här Gabriel?
Nej, ni har på riktigt.
Jag vet inte.
Tagit ut
Ja,
mig.
men finns det också. Vill du ha kött?
Nej men vet du vad det var? Micke ville vara på kameran.
Vill du ha det?
Israel.
Nej men nej! Sluta!
Det kommer vara grejer. Gott.
Det var det. Tills Micke tog hennes plats. För han ville vara med på kameran.
Det finns, den här är osaltad, jätteosaltad.
Man får inte salta så.
Ja, och jag trodde den var saltad.
Det var jättegott det här.
Ja, det var jättegott. Allt var fantastiskt.
Man kan göra pasta i den.
Ja, inte bra.
Imorgon.
Det är därför.
Ge mig köp.
Skumpa vinvatten.
Gurra, du behöver salt på den där.
Bubbel eller rosé eller...
Tack.
Rosé?
Ja, man får salta.
Same, tack.
Jag får be om.
Det var ju jättegott, Galia.
Jättegott. Var det det?
Ja,
Verkligen.
allt var gott.
Ja. Så vi tackar
Fantastiskt.
Le Chef för.
Ja.
Har vi salladsmusik?
Micke.
Höra talet.
Gurra och Galia.
GG.
Mycket de sa.
Hon glömmer aldrig Gurras namn.
Kan jag få salladsmusiken här Johan?
Your brother is handsome as heck.
Vad fan har hänt när jag inte var det precis?
Tack. Tack. Kan du ställa mig?
Nej, vi vill inte det. Nej.
Yes, brother.
Hur gör vi då? Så, men midsommar är väl bara så här att gånger.
Problemet
Sara.
är att de hatar varandra, så jag vet inte hur...
Bra.
De har fina gener.
Har vi någon?
Ja, det var det jag tänkte på.
Väldigt gott salt.
Samma färger.
Gustav, ge mig köttet. Här är det bra.
Vad som är rödvin. Otroligt. Ja, rödvin.
One comment is, this is a really beautiful gathering. I wish I had a family.
Är ljudet på eller?
Förhindra folk.
Esther's like, why are you guys laughing at it?
It's so fucking sad.
Someone said, this is a really beautiful gathering. I wish I had a family.
Ja, någon skrev det.
Jättefint. Eller
Någon som skrev att de
You
här. Ja, men
are very welcome to this gathering.
Don't say that, Sarah. You might have a...
Fint men sorgligt samtidigt.
It's nice, but also sad at the same time. Sorry that you don't have a
Man
family.
måste se humorn i allt.
Man måste ha två.
We laugh when we're nervous.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can make your own.
You can make your own family.
Det är bra uppmuntran. Det är uppmuntran.
Everyone is saying, don't invite Twitch viewers. Don't invite Twitch viewers.
Nej.
Someone's like, on my way.
De kommer hit nu ikväll.
Ja.
Jävlar.
Vilka då?
De ska göra mat.
Palestina eller så. Men sluta, nej, dra in.
Nej, sluta nu.
Why are you doing this?
Bara roligt. Igen.
Tyst.
Det har gått bra hela kvällen i alla fall.
Jag var klar hela dagen.
Det har gått hela kvällen. Nu är det liksom...
Tröjan är
Nu har
helt,
det
inget
nästan
har
gått
gått
bra.
sönder.
Det här är Switzerland. Neutralt.
Inget har gått under. Polisen har just tagit dig. Gått under häcken.
Oh dear. Avak, if you bring your chainsaw, you're gonna have to compete with my nephew because he has a chainsaw.
Swedish. Ja. Everybody has a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Bilen.
Ja, det var bra.
We didn't bring out the guns this midsummer, but you know.
It's still early.
Oh.
Hur många är med på ett midsommarfirande de har?
Huh?
Hur många är de som tittar nu?
Nu är det totala 300.
300 människor.
Som tittar på dig när du känner.
Det är helt sjukt.
Det gick från 100 till 300.
Nej, det
det är för
är
att-
bara typ Micke.
De såg att hon var online.
Vi är i en
Men det är bara för att jag sitter
annan
här.
livestream också som
Så att nu
har
vill
min feed,
de
som har 200 pers där och så är det 100 pers här. Något sånt.
Fattar.
Happy Midsummer for everyone there.
Men alltså seriöst, jag sitter ju i centrum.
Ja,
För hela
du,
streamen.
du kickade ut Galia så hon fick inte
Du
sitta
skickade
bredvid mig.
Galia ut
Ja.
härifrån.
Jag? Du satt ju här.
Det där är inte på... Åh nej, det var inte mitt.
Men du satt ju här fortfarande.
Förlåt, men ser du den ytan?
Sa jag någonting att
Det
du
är
skulle...
bredden på min
Sa jag någonting att du skulle flytta på dig? Sa jag någonting att du skulle flytta på dig?
Det är lugnt.
Men det är 300 som tittar på det, så det är...
2 glas vin till och sen så blir det socker.
Tack, det är bra. Helt korrekt. Bra hus. Ta med den här. Tack för bra. Är det bra? Vill du ha lite till?
Jävla bra kött alltså.
Bara sant.
Namak.
Namak, ja det. Med sprit.
Du vet ju vad.
Jag vill byta.
Så nu måste jag rätta etiketter här. Räter.
Nej, var det själv.
200 jag sitter och kollar på det.
Var det själv bara.
Jag tänker Anneli och Lars.
Kör bara.
Så här.
Man kan ju råbiff.
Jag måste kolla in i kameran samtidigt.
Det är alldeles för fint.
Så känns det som att de sitter och käkar med dig. Eller tillsammans med dig.
Jag vet inte, du får fråga dem.
Bra, äter du råbiff, Galia? Men du
Att
äter
de hör
inte
allting
rått kött?
verkligen. Okej. Nej.
Det är samma.
Jo, du kan fråga.
Det bästa tartan jag ätit, det var faktiskt i Polen, i Gdansk eller i Sopot. Och då stod han och hackade den framför mig. Jag får lite hacka den och så fick jag den till det. Det var fantastiskt.
Alltså lite. Bara till det där köttet.
Eller typ
Vi hör dig, säger de. Oj, oj, oj.
Men
Alltså,
vänta, jag har
mycket
hört att de
kött kvar,
pratar
det räcker ju.
svenska.
Vissa gör det.
Ja, men vad kul. Hej allihopa.
Det är mycket kvar ändå.
Vad kul att ni är här. Vill ni att Micke ska käka med er?
Ja, den var kanon. Den är slut.
Esther entering her live streaming.
Ja, just det. Gud vad skönt.
Det var mycket enklare på svenska.
Det finns också en till jättemycket större potatisgratäng kvar.
Lite mer potatis. Det var ju nummer så.
Ja, men det får vi käka imorgon. Men det är så hetsig nu.
Nej.
Det lagt alla spinninggrejer.
Ja,
Ifall den slutar.
det var den jag skulle skrapa i.
Jag tar den här. Tack.
Jag är van.
Är det en sån mukband?
Du får vänta tills...
Är det här en mukband?
Men jag behöver ratea din maten.
Ja, du pratar om
Va?
Ratea maten.
Jaha, ska jag ratea
Ingen
den?
press. Alla väntar på dig.
Nej.
I'm rating my food 10 out of 10 because it was made with love.
Press, okej? Så du
Direkt blev hon blyg, sa de.
lugna mig.
Vem?
Esther, vad ratear du maten?
Och då fick man vara med hela processen, lagade allt.
10. 10 out of 10.
Förberedde allt.
Thank you, Joho688NC5M.
Kommer bara fram.
For that nice comment.
Gick det bra?
Så är det här nu.
Här är din tallrik.
Det blir en stor här också.
Nice reason.
Jag är klar.
Finns servett att torka av om du har spett på tallriken.
Han blev inspirerad av mitt talk about vegetarianism before. So han sa, groceries in half an hour. This day in honor of your influence there will be no meat.
That's great.
Den är jätteosaltad. Du vet.
Jag ska ta lite bort. Vad är Lasse då? Ja, han kommer här.
I would say that the snooze on the phone looks like 20 out of 10 for me right now.
Kan du sova i alla fall? Ja, han kanske blir inte ute. Snart kan han.
Ska jag flytta på den nästa? Så är det.
Men det, ja, det förstår jag.
Ja. Nu unmutar jag här.
Ja, tack.
Ni som var så nervösa att åka på midsommarfirande för kanske någon skulle känna igen dig.
Nej, men det...
Nu är det online.
Ja, exakt. Ja, exakt. Ja, verkligen. Den där.
Passa i Mats.
Du ska behöva skämmas liksom med vårt sällskap.
Ska jag kalla det för Mats?
Han kallar mig
Jag sprang hit och satte sig.
Nej, det gjorde jag inte.
Hej!
Jag sa Astrid.
Vi högg ihjäl den med...
Astrid.
Det är bra.
Jaha, okej.
Och sen så...
Men Astrid är mer okej än Astrid.
Nej, det var de andra som sa det. En mix mellan
Nu tar jag
Ester och...
tillbaka, nu tar jag tillbaka min Mats.
Vinglas till Lasse Anneli.
This is halloumi.
Jag och Namma som sitter och dricker en burk. Nej, Johan också. Ja, man får ju
Var det på kommentarerna där? Eller?
Jaha.
Är det online hela tiden?
Kolla, så får du känna dig som riddare.
Bara ibland. Kanske 2 eller 3 timmar om dagen.
Det är bra för livestreaming.
Men inte varje dag.
Är vi ute?
Ja, de kollar ju varandra på
Okej.
Lägg ut, lägg ut!
Lägg ut!
Ja. Jag får hem.
Han är liksom, det räcker ju då.
Fattar.
Ja, det är mycket att berätta.
Look at the beautiful view, guys.
Vad hände?
Jag vill visa dem bara hur fint det är här.
Det försvann ur strålkastarljuset.
Ja.
Jag önskar att de var här. Men vi sitter där och bara har det bra. Jävla ja. Nordgermansk folktradition. Ja,
Skål.
Skål.
Skål av käften.
Ja.
Här är kött.
Det var jättegott.
Det är en halv fläskfilé, men den är jävligt gott.
Det var supergott. Eller hur? Fräscht med någon gång det fräscht med blomkål med sallad fräscht.
Och det är jättebra, alltså det blir knapriga.
Ja, verkligen. Annars kokt, det kan jag tycka är lite...
Det är
inte
mycket
lika,
godare
nej.
okokt,
Färskt.
tycker jag.
Ja.
Det är bra. Det är mer.
Men du kanske har fått ut i dina 20 grönsaker.
Den här veckan?
Nej, idag.
Nej, inte idag kanske. Men
Och måste man äta det varje dag?
nej,
Det är svårt att äta 20
en vecka,
grönsaker på en dag.
Nej, det är typ omöjligt.
Eller då får
Men det
man
är väl- är det inte
då
typ-
får man ju bara...
20-30 per vecka.
Ja, exakt, vecka.
Sallad.
Nu kom du ju
Ja, det finns
inte
ju.
med vinglas eller babymonitor.
Jag hittar inte babymonitorn, den kan inte vara känd.
De är glasen.
Var inte den på laddning?
Nej, den är batteridriven.
Men vad då brukar han vakna nu när han har somnat?
Nej, aldrig.
Goodies.
Dahlia.
How many people fell from the canoe? Or det heter canoe.
Kanot, ja.
Ingen har någonsin ramlat.
Kanopia.
Never.
Inte Gustav, kanot, ja. Exakt. Bara påminner. Nej.
Den här kanoten går som en jävla isbrytare.
Ja.
Men ramlade inte
Vi har döpt
ni i fjol?
Vi har döpt
Eller
det till
förfjol?
Oden.
Nej, vi har
Aldrig.
Jo, det gjorde ni visst det.
Nej, aldrig.
Det har vi inte gjort, så att det är, alltså, det är hittepå.
Det är Oden. Isbrytaren.
Men ja, jag hittade inte babymonitorn. Jag vet inte vad den är.
Men leta hårdare. Den ska... Ja.
Nej, den är batteridriven.
Men du skulle fortfarande ha glas till dina föräldrar?
Ja. Ja, just det. Och
Du
så
kan
mig.
gå och kasta en blick till.
Ja. Sitter här och bara väntar.
Ja, den är på bordet på framsidan.
Jag tror den är på bordet på framsidan, Gurra.
Ja. Framsidan!
På laddning.
Utomhus alltså.
Ja, viktigt. Annars ska jag...
Vad säger de? Nu blev jag involverad här.
Ja, de säger att jag är en häxa. Det är därför jag inte har kransen.
Just det.
Ja.
Ja.
Är det så?
Ja.
Att om
Sen
man inte har
gammalt,
kran...
ja.
Är det sant?
Man är mara. Du föder antingen, vet du det?
Marall är en mara. Ja,
Ja.
det passar ju.
Ja,
Skogsmara.
Ja.
skogsmara, ja.
Lockar oskyldiga pojkar ut i skogen
Oh,
och
is that
dödar dem.
what they do?
Ja, ja. Så
Eller Näcken.
Look at Esther's
Nej,
beautiful flower.
Sitter här,
Mara,
jag sitter här i ån och...
Mara föder barn utan bedövning. Antingen är det
Nej,
varulvar.
skogsmaran lockar ju folk ut i skogen och så dödar de.
Okej. Nej, jag tror att det var antingen
Nej, hon
varulvar.
Hon är
Eller
ungefär som en
varulvar.
Hon är ungefär som en siren. Hon pratar och sjunger ju jättevackert, så lockar hon ut män i skogen och så.
Jag tror det var de födde barn utan bedövningsmedel.
Nej.
De säger den var väldigt...
Har det i vatten?
Vadå?
Det är inte vatten, det är saltvatten.
För majs.
Vatten och salt.
Ja, det är så gott Ester. Du måste testa. Det heter ballal.
Majs alltså. Majs.
Vill du ha lite ballal?
Ja, majskorv.
Vill du ha lite ballal?
Vill du ha lite
Ja,
ballal?
på svenska.
Jag vill ha en ballal.
Men den är inte gram. Den är vadå?
Det gör inget. Den är inte garm.
Vadå? Det blir...
Det blir bra. Osmos. Osmos.
Efter man har grillat.
Osmos.
Ja, och Sara kan du det.
Eller? Ja, jag antar det, eller?
Nej, det får
Salt och
smak på
vatten.
majsen.
Ja, exakt. Osmos, ja. När salthalterna vill utjämna sig med det som finns bredvid. Alltså, om du har salt i ett... Om du har salt i ett kar och så har du bara rent vatten i det andra. Då dras det saltet till att jämna ut sig.
Nej, det är ingen utjämning, utan det är bara...
Det är bara att dricker du vatten så går
exakt.
det åt ett
Då
håll,
blir det
äter du salt så går det åt andra håll.
Ja, exakt. Men då vill ju saltet jämna ut sig. Så att
Vad är det jämna ut sig?
för att ha salt i ett kar så för den är majsen. Majsen är inte salt i sig. Så då vill ju saltet jämna ut sig.
Men det är inte saltet som jämnar ut sig, det är ju cellen som jämnar ut det.
Det är väl salten som jämnar ut sig. Salten dras väldigt mycket och det blir ju en utjämning så att då blir det salt i allting.
Nej,
Det är samma sak som om du saltar ett kött. Om du saltar ett kött så det är jättesalt så det blir konserverat. Då måste du driva ut saltet innan du äter det. Så droppar du köttet i vatten. Så att då drar saltet ut sig i resten av vattnet och då blir köttet ätbart. Osmos. Det är det som...
Reverse osmosis.
Förlåt?
Reversed osmosis.
Nej, jag tror att det där är en ren osmos-process. Att du droppar...
Ja, men det här visste jag inte. Men
alltså, det är osmos.
Nej, it's the function in which the cell retains or like expands or...
Osmos, det sker att du har olika halter utav någonting. Likadant som att om du värmer på ett
men
material...
vart sker den här funktionen?
Om du värmer på... Likadant som att du värmer på... Det här är termohyd...
Du vet att det är massa som lyssnar på det nu.
Ja, absolut. Men om du värmer ett material, då går områdena från hög aktivitet till låg. Ja. Termodynamikens andra huvudsats. Att varmt går till kallt. Okej? Så att, ja, det är likadant med salt. Om du häller upp salt i ett par och så har någon skiljeväg emellan.
Persisk ballad.
Och sen har du bredvid där det bara vatten. Då kommer saltet till att jämna ut sig. Så att allting jämnar ut sig. Likadant som ett område med hög aktivitet jämnar ut sig till ett område med kall aktivitet.
Jo, men syftet med det här är ju bara att man vill att majs står gott.
Absolut, men det är fortfarande
process. Men bara så om man tar saltkar.
Nej, men det var det på riktigt. Men jag fattar grejen.
Ja, för att salt, för att allting i naturen vill jämna ut sig.
Ja, men precis.
Alltså, jag menar
så oavsett vad den handlar om så vill allting jämna ut sig.
Man vill alltid ha salt på. Så det är ju
det har jag aldrig tänkt på. För att jag har ju kört, på båten hade vi ju en watermaker. Ja. Det är ju reverse osmosis. Så tar man ju saltvatten från havet och så gör man om det till dricksvatten.
Sara?
Ja. Men
jag har aldrig tänkt på osmosis.
Åt andra hållet.
Jag har bara tänkt på det.
Åt andra hållet, ja.
Intressant. Det är måste titta på.
Att allt vill jämna ut sig. Det är oavsett, ta elektronik då, ett batteri, då har du ju laddat i minuspolen och elektronerna vill vandra till pluspolen tills det att, alltså likström då, tills det att det uppstår en normal en jämvikt liksom. Exakt, mellan plus och minuspolen. Eller minus till plus, de går ju från minus till plus.
Vad innebär det här på en stor skala då?
Det är att naturen vill alltid jämna ut sig.
Som yin och yang.
Ja, men det är exakt oavsett vad.
Oavsett vad. Ja, men
ta ett batteri, det är likström, då går den från minus till plus. Eller lagen säger plus till minus, men minus till plus. Så då vandrar elektronerna tills jämvikt uppstår.
Så typ, there is no light without
så,
dark.
Nej. Exactly. Det är inget ljus utan mörker. Det är inget mörker utan ljus.
Nej, exakt. För att, nej.
Där blir det ljus på Johan.
Nej, för att ett område med hög aktivitet vill jämna ut sig till ett område med låg aktivitet.
Anneli, vill du ha med potatis?
Men tänk om det inte finns en ljuskälla då?
Men om ett träd faller i skogen?
Nej, jag pratar ju om,
om
deras aktivitet bara. Alltså molekylernas aktivitet.
Och ingen hör det? Ja. Har det hänt då?
Nej, men då sker fortfarande
Schrödingers katt.
termodynamisk.
Det är 2024, då kan vi män kan
Ja, så att allting faller i sönder.
Jag ser inte driven med det nu.
Jo, jag vet det. Men ja. Det finns lagar på.
Mama, inom i khar, man nämnt tunam hamashu bukhorat.
Jag delar den här, det kan jag inte.
Aga hamashu mikhoram delam där.
Jag tänkte nästan inte upp.
Mycket vill du hela? Jag kan inte äta hela.
Det finns några köttbitar här om någon.
Men alltså, du är inte klar än.
Jo,
halva
jag är
så
klar.
dela.
Men det här är ju halva.
Nej, det där är inte halva.
Där är hon den nya. Chachas nya.
Johan.
Ja, men han
Vill du ha bearnaisesås eller kött?
Vi måste balansera, vet du.
Så är det.
Ja.
Jämvikt måste ju uppstå.
Fint.
Följ naturen. Ja.
Det är god.
Ska du testa
Jag
den då?
brukar köpa sån här i
Mexiko.
Kör mig också. Då grillar de den direkt. Nu är det lite batteri.
Och smås.
Okej, jag ska få till snus.
Hur gör de då?
Nej, men då kör de på, bryter de av den här så kör de in
Den ska vara
en
vatten,
pinne. Och så grillar de. Och så när du kommer att köpa så kör de på antingen jävligt mycket smör och mayo och chili. Eller så bara häver de på lime.
Corn on the cob is insanely good. This is not ordinary corn on the cob. This is balal. And so it's dipped in salt water after being grilled and cooked. Tyckte du inte om den?
Men det är de... Nej, det var
Han kommer.
Han har inte
Mitt framför kameran.
Jag spottar bara ut.
Turkiet eller Grekland eller...
We keeping it real.
Provat så.
Nej, inte som inte.
Ska du inte vända den mot dig och säga, hålla ett tal då?
De har också...
Jag tycker det är så konstigt. Hur går det med olivträden då? Växer de?
Is your dolphin sister there? Sarah, is your dolphin sister there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you know what they mean?
Yeah, of course I do.
Ja, jag fattar.
Jag fattar inte heller.
Nej, när jag var liten så Sara drog alltid med mig till badhuset.
Du är alltid med, du.
Ja, just det.
Men jag kunde inte simma och så så jag fick vara på hennes rygg så här. Så simmade vi under vattnet och så sa hon, nu leker vi delfin. Och så skulle jag knacka 3 gånger på hennes rygg när jag inte kunde andas mer. Och då knackade man 3 gånger. Men hon sket i det. Tills man så här splattrade.
Det är bra, eller hur?
Det var jättegott.
Glad midsommar, Damien.
Hon har bra lungkapacitet.
Yeah, balal is the Persian way of making corn on the cob.
The name of corn.
Never heard of it being dipped in salt water. Sounds interesting.
Bra jobbat.
Yeah, it's tasty.
Yeah, it is.
Majsen blev bra också. Nej, men
I
majsen blev
tried
bra
for the
också.
first time.
Nej,
Right
majsen
now.
blev
And
inte
it
bra.
was
Det
Den
var
var
jättegott
bra.
var det.
Det var jättegott.
Nej, jag vet inte varför.
Maral doesn't look Swedish. It doesn't matter how you look, but how you feel inside.
Sötpotatis. Eller färskpotatis.
True, I feel very Swedish.
Potatis suger upp en del av vätskan också, avger lite stärkelse. Det här är färskpotatis. Den kanske inte funkar på samma sätt i en gratäng.
Är det den tvättade eller bra?
Jag tror att det kan vara skillnad för att det är färskpotatis. Den är precis enough mycket vätska själv.
The computer is low on battery, guys, so you might disappear. Have you enjoyed Swedish Midsummer?
Skål. Tack.
Skål.
Jag vill ha torr majskolv. Jag kan ta Sara.
Skål.
Nej, den där.
Har ni ätit sådär?
Skål.
Den sista.
Jättegod.
Eller du kan dela med Anneli.
With my family.
Tyckte ni inte om majsen?
Dela med Lasse.
Gustav äter upp det du inte orkar.
Ja, det är du.
Äter du det jag inte orkar?
Mm.
Det kändes väldigt bra.
Ja.
är jättegott. Ät.
Bara ät.
No problem.
Ja.
I don't know where to put you guys. Everyone's watching.
Vad hette det, sa du?
Vadå för något?
Majsen doppad i...
Ballal.
Saltvatten.
Ja.
Massgravarna. Majs, grillad majs i saltvatten.
Jag doppar ju alltid saltvatten.
Va?
Ja. Rödlök. Allt jag fermenterar kör jag bara i salt.
This is difficult. I might just call it.
Syrade rödlöken.
Ja, det var fisk. Det var fisk.
Det flyter ju en majskolv.
Vem var det?
Gustav, du har en fisk.
Feeding the fishes.
Nej.
Men det är naturligt.
Mom doesn't agree with feeding the fishes. Här är det. Nej, den var så fin för dig. Nej!
Va?
Det är lite, ja, det är lite lustigt.
Vad var det för något?
Ja. Låt oss minkfällan då, Gustav. Det är den man alltid vittjar när man är här. Eller? Minkfällan.
Det ska vi titta på.
Ja, det ska vi titta på ikväll. Ja. Ska du med då? Ska vi såga stock?
Vi måste ta fram geväret och visa dem, Gustav.
Ja, när Gustav bara, ja det är ett träd som ligger här och blockerar liksom ån. Jag bara okej, hur tjockt är det då? Han bara, men det är knappt en decimeter. Kommer dit, det är liksom ett...
I was not aware.
Det är liksom ett ordentligt träd, det är liksom 30 centimeter. Med jävla bågsåg och yxa står jag där och bara sågar allt vad hade.
Bågsåg gick sönder.
I don't think we have one. We already had cake today.
Alltså vi bara stod där i
We
50 minuter var. Jag bara,
and everything.
va? Tror du trädet gick sönder? Nej, så fan heller.
Nu är det håligt.
De åkte dit med spännband 2 veckor senare och spände upp det liksom.
Istället för att ta med en motorsåg på en gång.
Jo, han har ju ingen motorsåg. Och bågsåg är lite mera... Ja, du vet.
Köp en el, alltså det är det bästa som finns.
Ja,
alltså,
ja,
jag älskar
Alright, chat. I'm gonna spend
såklart.
time with
Det är
my
så
family now.
fantastiskt.
Inga avgaser, ingenting.
Uncensored.
Ja.
Exakt, man skulle stå varvar upp.
No worries,
Nej, men
Risen.
helt,
Thank you for hanging out.
Glöm.
Much appreciated. Hope you guys liked it.
Ingenting. Det låter ingenting, man bara
The
kör
best
och
part
bara
was
laddar.
definitely cooked.
Ja, jag håller med.
Because we kept winning.
Det är jättehärligt.
Thank you.
Man behöver inte visa så mycket.
Now it's about to get real dark. Well, technically not. It doesn't get darker than this. It's 10 p.m. right now, and you can see how bright it is, right?
Jag håller med.
And it will be like this pretty much all night. The sun won't set, basically.
Jo, alltså du kan ju vara ute en hel dag i skogen.
Everybody gave consent.
Ja, det beror på vilket märke man köper i så fall. För att jag har varit ute en hel dag i skogen och kört bara på el. Och alltså kapa, fältträd. Alltså,
Well, he redeemed himself because he actually redid the throw and then they actually won anyway. Alright. Bye everyone. See ya. Thanks for watching.
Ja, men jag absolut har sett att batterierna tar slut, absolut. Men